think the hardest part about growing up is realizing that not everyone is meant to stay. Um, having the expectation of, you know, being in school, high school, middle school, whatever. You really do think that these people are really gonna stay in your life, but once you graduate and stuff, everyone goes their separate ways. I will say that. Um, you get used to certain people, certain routines, certain versions of yourself every single day, and then just one day it just becomes different. And to be honest, that's just um, no one really talks about how weird that is, and I would say that's just the normal feeling of development. Everyone grows, everyone changes. Not everyone's gonna be the same day, one day from another. Realistically, I'm fucking ass at surf. Um, um, but no one really talks about how weird that is. One day you just wake up and you're a different version of yourself, and that's just growth. You really can't change that. A lot of people, I will say this, and a lot of young men, you're not sad enough to break down, but you're not enough to say that you're fine either. I know a lot of people can relate to that. Um, I don't know, I don't know much about other people, but this is really just much about myself. Um, Realistically, to myself, I just have the mindset of you just gotta thug it out. To be fair, and that really is a bad mentality, just holding it in till you really can't. And I know that's my main issue, my main issue, but I don't know about anybody else's. But that's just my personal experience. You kind of just sit through it, experiencing life, just letting it, life go through you, and just sitting there. I don't know. Um, there have been a lot of chapters in my life where some are more significant than others, and what I will say to that, um, that's just life, I guess. Some chapters close louder than others. They come to a harder end. Some don't. But you learn a lot of different things, a lot of different experiences that I have. I've learned a lot of things, and that's just life. You just adjust and you grow, and you just keep going. And that's low-key the mentality that I've been having a lot. And for a lot of, I don't know, a lot of other people, I really don't know what other people go through. I'm really much of a self-isolated person when it comes to my feelings and stuff, which I know that really is also another main issue with me. But to be honest, I prefer it that way. There's a lot of things where it's just like I really don't want other people to be involved in. So like maybe I do find the right person for that stuff. What I will say, self growth is low key the most important thing, just because that really does establish who you are as a person. It really makes a difference between if you know yourself or if you don't know yourself. Knowing yourself is low key one of the most important things. If you don't know what you want, how are you gonna know what someone else wants? Realistically, and I've had a lot of experience with that. You really gotta know what you want in order to know what somebody else wants. It doesn't really make sense, but it'll make sense. It makes sense in my head, but I don't know how to explain it. But it makes sense if you know, you know. Um, I mean, to be honest, friends, from my personal experience, friends have helped me a lot, even if they're not there physically or mentally, I guess. I mean, they're still there. They're still there in the background. They're always gonna be there for me. I hope. I'm not really too sure about it, but I mean, I've been lucky enough to have really good friends. Really good friends. Now I think I might get into the topic of addiction. It's a really bad topic for our generation. Um, but I will say addiction is more of a coping mechanism. Unfortunately, I know I'm addicted to, I would say, nicotine. I would say I'm addicted to nicotine, just mostly because of the reason that it's more of a hunger stimulant. It's a hunger stimulant. Yes, that's why I first started getting into it, because it would suppress your hunger, and I really wanted that to lose a lot of weight. But what I have noticed is that a lot of my how do we say this, characteristics like fidgeting and ADHD type of shit. If I don't have a nick on me, I do catch myself like reaching over for it, and that's that. That's how I know I'm addicted. And will I ever quit? Right now, at the moment, I really don't know, since I am basically using it just to not get hungry. I'm really fucking bad at surf. Let me get a different map. Addiction really is a bad part of our generation, I would say now, especially as everything's becoming more legal and natural. Obviously, if you're over the age, it's fine. I have noticed a lot in how do I say this? In my community, there's a lot more addiction, a lot more in younger kids than what it used to be. In my school, for example, you really wouldn't catch that many people, smacking the Nick or smacking a Penji. There wasn't that many people. It wasn't that like, how do you say it? How do I say this? It wasn't like as normal as I would say what it is now. And I would say my school used to be like an up and tidy type of school, They cared a lot about the students, but now it's just like, ugh, the students really did change it. Let's look around the topic. Should we get into breakup? Breakups wouldn't be a bad topic to get into. I've had a lot of breakups in my life. I'm not gonna lie, a good amount. What I will say, I think the hardest part about a breakup is just low key. It's not even the ending. It's just the after. It's the feeling of waking up and it's just like, damn, this person's not in my life anymore. Everything low key changes since you would spend a lot of time with them. And it's low key all just the little habits that you build up around that person. So I can remember those little habits, and it's just like, damn, it really does make you remember. You're never really prepared to lose a person. I will say that from all the persons I've lost, I've never really been prepared to lose someone, and I feel like I've lost a part of myself that coexisted with that person. I give myself to them, and I lose a part of myself to them. Just because, that's how it works, I would say. And it low-key just sucks because after the breakup, it's just like you talk to this person so much. You spend every single little moment, and then now it's just dead silent. You probably have the habit of checking your phone, checking the phone. You get a message, check your phone, see if you get a nice little message. Hold up, restart that part. I'm so fucking. I just keep rambling. So after the breakup, you're used to talking to this person, nonstop. You really are. Talk to them every single day, good morning, good night, you do your usual calls if you do. What else? And it's just like that silent. And it's just like, damn. And then now you're just checking your phone every single time you get a nice little message, thinking it's them, but it really isn't them. Anyways, low-key after that part, once you start accepting it, it still hurts, but you get used to it. And it's low-key just getting over that initial barrier of getting over them, since you're not used to having them in your life anymore. And I think that's where a lot of people end up like going back to that person, just because you're just not used to being without them when you always were. But yeah, it's just low-key just that one initial part where you're just not used to them being in your life anymore. It's just getting over that one initial step, and then you're fine. But yeah, that's low-key like my advice I have right now, as I'm about to turn 21. Financial advice. Invest in stocks, ETFs a lot. ETFs, do ETFs. It's almost same. It's if you do long term and you play right, you gotta do more research, obviously. But I will say ETFs, and just doing long term, you can't mess that up. You really can't. I guess it sucks that you have to wait, but that's just my one advice. Also just making sure to have like a few $100, not even 100, like 400, 300, something. Just something in your emergency funds in case something was to happen. Say you have a car, flat tire pops, you can buy another one. Alternator goes out, battery goes out, you have enough money. That's what I will say as a young adult, and that's what my dad has taught me. And that saved me from a lot of fucking bad incidents, I will say. Just having emergency money is always nice. I don't really know. I think I went over everything I really wanted to talk about for now. YouTube wise, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been low key lacking it on like recordings. I've been wanting to record much. Well, it's not even that. It's just I've been busy, realistically. But I guess that'll be it. Just comment anything you guys want me to talk about. Anything, do anything for the video. Just give me ideas. I'll make a video. But yeah, this is a nice little, I guess, one-on-one talk with everybody. Just advice. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I guess like, subscribe, comment. I don't know. Follow my socials. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.